All right, so two things I want to discuss in today's video is breaking bad habits and morning routines. Welcome to today's video, YouTubers. We are still on track to quit smoking for 2022. Okay, so yes, I am smoking, and this is actually my first cigarette of the day, and I've been up for several hours. And what I want you guys to start doing as we move closer and closer to our final quit date is I want you to start developing different habits and different ways of starting to lower the amount of nicotine you're taking in at this point. Because when the time comes, we're quitting cold turkey. So we need to find a way to become a little less dependent on this to make it just a little bit easier to deal with those cravings that we're going to have when all of this starts. So the way I usually start my mornings is I wake up and I let my dogs outside. I smoke a cigarette while my dogs are outside. I come back in, I get a pot of coffee going, and as soon as my first cup of coffee is ready, I pour a cup, I sit down, and I enjoy a nice hot cup of coffee and a cigarette. Because to me, and probably a lot of you, a good cup of coffee and a smoke are just a perfect pair. Let's put this out so we can continue the video. So what I did this morning to avoid smoking a cigarette for as long as I possibly could, granted I only made it a few hours, that's actually pretty good considering I usually only make it like 3 minutes. What I did is I changed up my routine a little bit. When I let my dogs out, instead of smoking a cigarette, I plugged in some headphones and listened to some music. And instead of making that pot of coffee, I started off this morning drinking orange juice. Full of pulp, the way I like it. There's some truth to the phrase that the way you start off your morning is generally the way the rest of your day is going to go. If you start off in a bad mood or on the wrong side of the bed, as they say, generally the rest of your day is going to be really shitty. So if you start off the morning smoking cigarettes, you're going to be smoking cigarettes the rest of the day. So not only did I change a certain habit, making coffee, to avoid grabbing a cigarette, I also attempted to start off the morning fresh and different. Again, the object was to go as long as I could without a cigarette as possible. So this is what I'm going to encourage you to do leading into the end of the month, is to change up your routine a little bit and try to avoid the behaviors that lead you into smoking a cigarette. And on top of that, when you start off the morning, do something different and try to put off that first cigarette as long as you can. You could do what I did, listen to music. You could put in a 15-minute workout. You can jump straight on your video game system and start playing games. Immerse yourself in a TV show. Just whatever it is that you do, just avoid smoking a cigarette for as long as you can in the morning. Don't grab that first cigarette. And kind of make a game out of it if you need to. On your first morning, if you only make it a half hour, the next day, try to make it 35 minutes, or 45 minutes. If you make it an hour, try to make it 2 hours the next day. And just keep trying to put it off as long as you can. Because what's going to happen on January 1st, when you wake up in the morning, this is exactly how the day is going to start. Since we're quitting before the ball drops on New Year's Eve, when you wake up on January 1st, you're going to be putting off cigarettes for as long as you possibly can. Hopefully the rest of your life, some of us, might not be able to make it through the first day, and that's okay, because simply just trying to make an attempt to quit is progress. There is no failure in trying to quit smoking. If you try to quit smoking and you don't make it and you light a cigarette, just try to quit smoking again and just try to make it longer this time. By attempting to quit, you're already putting yourself on the right path. All right, YouTubers, go out and enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your evening or night or whatever it is for you. And when you wake up tomorrow, as I said, just try to put off that first cigarette as long as you can and see how it goes. And then do the same thing the next morning and the next morning and the next morning. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in for this one.